Hello everyone, Akinoff here, and welcome back to Pokemon Emerald. When we last left off, we opened the way. What way, you ask? Well, the way to fight and capture 3 legendary Pokemon. Steal the way because they're so powerful and destructive, they could destroy the world. Nah, not really. It's just the Regis. They're not so bad. Anyway, first thing we want to do, we want to go to Pokemart, of course. The sensible option, and we want to buy. Alright, this one's useless to us, right? So I'm gonna have to fly to Moss Deep. Oh well, minor hiccup. Not the summary of thing, but okay. We're gonna have to fly to Moss Deep. What we're doing now is rather simple. We're going to be doing the old capture strategy, and that may involve us spending a lot of money on, well, balls. I'm probably gonna need roughly, get that many, yeah, so I spend a whole bunch of money because, well, we're gonna be dealing with pain in the ass Pokemon for a bit now. I mean, they have a 3 out of 255 capture rate, so low chance. What we want to do now is fly over to Lava Ridge Town. We're going to deal with the first one of these. Depending on our luck, we may deal with even more than one of them in this episode. But alright, Repel wore off. I'm going to throw up another Repel, because I don't want to get into a battle before we deal with this. There goes our max Repel and we're all good. And here we are. This rock formation now has an opening in it. And inside is nothing? Okay. If you come up here and you actually translate this, it will tell you to take 2 steps left, 2 steps down, and use Rock Smash. I think it actually says left, south. Maybe, I got no idea what it actually says. But we're gonna go this. Pokemon. This is why we have Tropius. Rock Smash. And this will happen and the door opens. If we go through here, we can see Regirock. Probably gonna be, in a way, both the toughest and the easy, and just the same as all the others to capture. Here's the thing, all 3 of them share one common trait. They use superpower. Regirock has the highest attack stat of them, and that makes his superpower the most dangerous. What we're going to start off every one of these fights with is a simple strategy. A very important strategy for catching legendaries. It's called Thunder Wave. Yep, Thunder Wave is this oh so important strategy. Regirock, Regice, and Registeel, they all have the same hidden, all have the same ability, not hidden ability. They have different hidden abilities, but that's not relevant in this game. They have the same ability. Clear Body. Clear Body means that you cannot, and I repeat, cannot lower their statuses. So we can't lower their accuracy, their attack, anything like that. They can lower their accuracy and attack, but we can't. So I'm going to swap out the Swampert because basically he's basically the best for taking the hits. He's our best tank. Superpower. He's simply lowering his own attack, and that was a crit. Okay, he has 5 superpowers. Also has 5 ancient powers and something else. 5 something else. No, he has. Those are his 2 smallest. This is actually probably the biggest issue we have to worry about. Is not. I just realized Swamper's the worst one for this fight. I should have actually swapped out the Breloom to begin with, which was a silly move on my part, but anyway, it's okay. I believe Mach Punch won't kill him. If memory serves me right. Nah. I don't think we can afford another Mach Punch. A Headbutt or 2 maybe, but not a Mach Punch. Yeah, his attack and defense fell, yeah. He's used Superpower twice in a row. Ancient Power twice. Right, so we should be able to take him just fine now. Now the problem is, yes, we have lots of Ultra Balls, but he'll eventually reach a point where he struggles. And that's where it'll become a problem, because, well, once he runs out of PP, well, it's game over for us. It's also kind of a pain in the ass to survive Regirock. He's kind of tough. Just kinda. If we get lucky, we might catch him early, but we're going to have to take a few superpowers to actually do that. And as you can see, Breloom is also a good choice for taking these hits, since he's also a fighting type and resistant to superpower. And I think Regirock tends to go for superpower against Breloom more than he does against Swampert. And that's just a waste. That's just silly. You're not going to do much damage at all with that. He's either used 4 or he's used all of them. I think he probably has 1 more superpower, so I'm going to heal Breloom. Take a rock throw, that doesn't really hurt us much. Breloom's really resilient to most of his attacks. And we're just going to keep throwing Ultra Balls until we catch him. However, this does have a lot of problems. He's very resilient, he's very tough, and if it was a smart Pokemon, it would simply use Curse over and over again until... That was quick. That only took 8 minutes from the very start of the episode. Not even that, it's slightly less. But holy crap, that was... It's not normally that easy. Okay, not normally that easy. Right, so a Pokemon that's made entirely of rocks and boulders. If parts of its body chip off in battle, Regirock repairs itself by adding new rocks. Give a nickname to Regirock? No, it's a legendary. I don't give nicknames to legendaries. And we've caught one of the Regis. That was very easy. Easier than normal, because oftentimes you just won't get lucky. And they'll just wear themselves out. Our next target is going to be down here. We're going to Dewford Town. Now this target is slightly different. This target is got a very different structure and build and play style compared to Regirock. Regirock's the one you really have to worry about in terms of taking damage and all that. And I gotta figure out where it is exactly that I'm going, because I always get confused by this area. I know where I'm going. Across here, up here. Repel wore off on an island, that's fine. I can throw out another max repel, that's... So we don't need any random encounters. We're going to be dealing with Pokemon battles this whole episode anyway. Right, and if you remember, up here was another cave just like the one in Thing. You'll probably remember now a third cave, and that's where we'll find Registeel. Anyway, let's go in. Once again, an empty room with an inscription. Like, I can't actually read this. I don't actually know exactly what it says, but I understand what the instruction is. The instruction is basically, you have to run around the room hugging the wall clockwise. If you can figure out what that says by pausing and trying to figure it out, yeah, go ahead. I can never be bothered. But yeah, I've figured all this stuff out before when I've done this and in the past, and yeah, like I actually figured out what all this stuff said. It took me a while. Like I actually put down a proper translation of everything and all that jazz. This is Regice. We're gonna save before we fight it. The notable thing about Regice is it's much different from the others from Regirock, as Regirock's highly defensive but has low special defense, whereas Regice has high special defense and low physical defense, also having low attack. Well, let's take Regice on. And we're going to start this out exactly the same as we started out the previous fight. With Manectric and Thunder Wave. The important thing about Thunder Wave is it gives us extra turns. Every time they're paralyzed and can't move, they don't waste PP. All we want to do is now use Thunderbolt from Manectric. I think it's 2 to 3 times. Yeah, 3 times. Superpower isn't something we particularly have to worry about due to its low attack stat. See, it doesn't even do much to Manectric, who isn't all that tough. And we don't have to worry about the defense about it being weaker to it losing its special defense. I don't really want to try use it's the same. You know what? Bite shouldn't kill it. If it does, I'll just load. And a flinch. Okay, that's fine. I'm now gonna throw out an Ultra Ball and hope that this works, because this is the best we can do now. Dealing damage at this point is very dangerous. A lot of our Pokemon aren't actually all that resilient to Regice's Icy Wind and such, but Curse could eventually make its superpower a problem if it just goes on too long, but that would require it to, I think, get up to stage 6 and attack, use 6 curses in a row, and it might actually be a threat. But fortunately, Curse doesn't raise special attack, which is what Ice type moves are. However, it will raise the power of Ancient Power and I forget what it's called. Yeah, Superpower. What am I thinking? Yeah. And we're not having much luck so far, but that's to be expected. It does have a 3 out of 255 catch rate. Looks like that's how I think it works. Paralyzed, I think. I don't actually know how all the actual mechanics work, because I think like paralyzed I know paralyzed doubles your chances and damage increases. I think doubles. Like if you have them in a state that's considered weakened, they are easier to catch. So I don't know how much you can boost your catch rate by. But then again, Ultra Balls have double catch rate in of themselves. So if that works out like that, that's a 24. If everything doubles at once, we have 24. This 24 out of 255 catch rate. That's not a very high percentage. Manectric, unfortunately, will be taking the majority of the beating here. If I had a tank Pokemon like an Umbreon or a Shuckle, well, maybe not a Shuckle due to the fact that that's a rock bug. Oh, a well-trained Shuckle would handle this just fine. No, a well-trained Shuckle would not handle this just fine. well-trained Shuckle would be designed to kill and wall very effectively. It's using superpower a bit much and lowering its stats. I can throw out another Ultra Ball, I can afford to do that, I think, I hope. There's always the risk that this will just end up with us going until, well, you know, we run out of options and have to, and we have no choice but to use, and well, we have no choice but to let it die and retry. You know, I was always, when I was a kid, I was always under the impression that it being in the red is better, and I have no idea whether that's actually true for catching. I know damage is necessary to make it easier, but I never actually bothered to. I haven't, like, I may have looked it up in the past, what's the specifics about increasing capture rate, but I cannot remember for the life of me now. I think that's his last superpower, and that's unpleasant if it is, because, well, he's used a lot of his TP, not TP, PP. We're not playing Tails. Oh wait, does Tails even have? Yes, Tails has TP. I'm just trying to remember stuff and I'm forgetting. Well, at least he's slow. Not that that's going to do me much good, I'm just throwing Ultra Balls at him. Brute forcing it. It's the only thing you can really do against legendaries if you want to catch them. I mean, like, beating them is so easy, it's not funny, so they can't. That is not what's considered the boss fight. The boss fight is making them obey you with Ultra Balls or Dusk Balls if you're in the right generation for that, or oh damn it. It was so close, wasn't it? I'm tempted to throw a Pokeball for a joke because, you know, it's one of those things that you always do, and when you're playing on your own, you're like, hey, Pokeball, go! If I catch him in a Pokeball, I'll laugh, but you know, nah, wasn't happening. I mean, I've caught Lugia in a Pokeball before. That was a laugh. It was a playthrough I did of Gold ages ago when I was a kid, and I ran out of Ultra Balls. I was like, huh. I only have a Pokeball left. Okay, throw it. And I caught it. But that's just one random story of luck being on my side. I don't even know if Lugia has that lower catch rate compared to something like the Regis. I'd have to look it up at some point to be like, oh yeah, it doesn't. Regice is using Crit again. But the Regis, they can be kind of a pain in the ass because they're like this. They are stubborn. Well, if this one starts struggling and dies, I'll just cut till when we actually catch it properly. The old remember to save before the legendary Pokemon trick, which we have yet done. Ultra Ball, I hope. Ah. Huh. Although the paralysis is probably paying off quite well. We're taking less damage than we could, we have to heal less, we get more shots of the Ultra Balls. Unfortunately, it doesn't get any less resilient. It doesn't get any easier to capture, it's just the same rate, and it's just like, hey, you'll eventually get it if you try long enough. Right. Regice is attacking the fence rows. We're not particularly concerned about that. I mean, I've had this Pokemon struggle to death against me before, and that's never helpful. I remember all the things about, hey, you can do this and it makes it more likely for Pokemon to catch, but that actually does nothing. I can't even remember what they were now. What were those things that kids were like, oh, this trick works, it makes you catch the Pokemon all the time and all this jazz, and it's like, well, that doesn't actually make any sense, but okay, whatever. And I think he's down to Curse and Icy Wind, unfortunately for us. You know, it's good if he's paralyzed, because then we actually stand a chance. I won't be using the Master Ball on any of these guys because that's going to be saved for a bit of a more nuisance Pokemon to catch, as in we don't have any actual means of catching it other than using, well, we have means to capture it, just it'd be a nightmare to actually do. And that's part of post game. I'm probably not gonna do a whole lot post game, probably just show off that. We're probably going to see it struggle itself to death at some point soon. I mean, with its attack stat, it'll probably kill itself one hit. You know, it's boosted its attack stat so many times. Ancient Power, that's actually going to hurt a fair bit, but that's probably the last Ancient Power. And while I praise the paralysis, I don't know how effective this round of trying to catch Regice is going to be. Yeah, his speed won't go lower. It's not like I think with Mewtwo in the old days, it used to be that he had infinite PP. Oh, and we get Regice! We didn't have to do a second run of that, which is great. Which means it's time to move on to our third Pokemon. We're not giving Regice a nickname. And I didn't bother to read its Pokédex entry, but that's okay. We knew stuff like that would happen. I'll just go to it anyway. Regice, its entire body is made of Antarctic ice. After extensive studies, researchers believe the ice was formed during an ice age, and it doesn't melt. But anyway, we're gonna take Swallow and we're gonna fly over to Fortree City. Why Fortree? Because that's the closest place to Registeel. We're gonna go in here, heal, because, well, our best, one of our best Pokemon for fighting and dealing with these legendaries is it gotten pretty hurt. Blah, I can't talk. But anyway, we're gonna go not to the gym, but instead onto this route here, which has very little relevance to Alright, get through that with as few encounters as possible, get back on the bike. If I run into a random trainer who I haven't battled, I'd be surprised at this point, okay? But it's a possibility. Really? Okay. So I did miss someone up here. I thought I had. Let me sweep him. I'm just gonna sweep him just for fun. Actually, I'm probably gonna cut this. Okay, so if that dealt with, yeah. We're gonna need to just run south through here. Oh, and I forgot I hadn't thrown up a repel recently. See, I'm not doing the best right now. I've captured 2 legendary Pokemon and I don't really want to deal with this. Oh, Thunder will be 100% accurate right here. So in game, yeah, Thunder is very powerful right here. Or at least it was, and now that we're here, we have to go up here, and I believe through this area here. And we're at another rock, okay. This one, very similar to the others, I believe. Right, I believe what that actually tells us to do is go to the center of the room, right here I believe, and use Flash? Let's hope I'm right. I'm right. And through here we have Registeel. Looks a lot like the others, doesn't it? We're gonna save before we fight it, of course, because that's a sensible thing to do. We're going to check that we have all our Pokemon in the right order. We have Magnetric at the start, that's all that matters, yep. And we're going to paralyze this Steel type straight away. So Registeel, Registeel is the balanced defense of them. He also has balanced attack, whereas Regice is a more special attack than physical attack. Registeel has balanced attack and special attack with 75 on each. Whereas, okay, let me actually do the actual stats of all of them. Regirock is they have a split of, I think they have roughly 600 stat points, you know, base stats. Regirock has 200 attack, 100 attack, 50 special attack, 200 physical defense, 100 special defense, and I think the rest is on speed. I think. Regice has the like reversing the physical and the special on Regirock, and Registeel balances it out by how should I put this? He's got like, I think it's 150 special attack, no, 150 special defense and 150 defense. He's also got 75 attack and 75 defense. And he's in the red, right where we want him. And he's not that much more threatening than Regice. And the main thing is, he's slightly more, he's less aggressively powerful than either of the other Regis, because he doesn't have any move that would be considered his own type, you know? Anyway, we're gonna just start off by throwing Ultra Balls again. We've got him down into a position where we can damage, where we have a high chance of catching him. And we even got him into red, unlike the others. Okay, superpower shouldn't be all that deadly, but still fairly harmful. What's Steel not exactly good against? Once again, Breedling's probably gonna be handy here, because fighting and grass, yeah, fairly resilient to most of Registeel's moves. Like, we have a normally you'll actually, a lot of people I think will run into a problem when dealing with their superpowers, because superpower will deal a lot of damage to them and they'll be like, I don't know what to do, I don't know what to do, how do I fight this? And you panic. That's the worst thing to do in a boss fight. Well, it's the worst thing to do in any situation. It's actually probably the most difficult part of... I was gonna be like, if I just caught it there, I'd be surprised. If we look at the Souls games, panic and confusion is probably what's most likely to kill you. Or at least with my experience. And, you know, if you plod on and plod on, you'll eventually be like, okay, I can do this. And you'll be like, okay, I did this. But of course, if you panic and you're like, this is insane, I can't do this, well, you've already beaten yourself. That's the point of Dark Souls, I guess. From what I've seen of it, anyway. But I don't know much about it. I mean, there's a whole lot more to the game that I know about, but that's what it seems to me. It's a big psychological warfare thing, and a matter of time, and whether you're willing to gather up all your resources that you need again and again and again. Which is my problem with those games, to be honest. I'm like, I'd have no problem with this if I could just respawn to take on the boss fight again. But I have to trek. Like, I'm not dying any more than I would in some other character action games, to be honest. It's not all that much more difficult than any other character action game. For me anyway, it's like, at least not on like a certain toughness. It's not all that much more difficult, but now I'm talking about a game completely unrelated to this, and our goal here. But yeah, you know, it's just like, if I have to trek back, it's like, this adds not challenge, but more of a nuisance that's involved in this. But that's just my personal opinion on a game that a lot of people like and a lot of people hate. And so what? Doesn't really matter, does it? I wonder if someone will drag this video up years later and be like, you hate Dark Souls, get good, or something like that. And here's the thing about Dark Souls, the way people describe it definitely doesn't actually fit what it actually is. Like, I've had it described to me by friends who've played it and stuff, and it's like, that sounds cool, and then when I've played it I've been like, this is very different from what you described. Oh, and we just caught Registeel. Let's get off the subject of Dark Souls and onto Registeel. Its body is harder than any other kind of metal. The body metal is composed of a mysterious substance. Not only is it hard, but it shrinks and stretches flexibly. Well, otherwise it wouldn't move. And no. But we've done this in what seems to be 34 minutes. We've captured all the Regis. Mine's been knack enough. Have a very good time and good night, or something like that anyway. Next time, we go on with the story. See you then.